A little while ago, I brought you the C5 from CAMMUS, and I really did like it. The main reason why I wanted to show it off is because it was amazing value for money. The big problem with it, aside from looks that only a mother could love, is the fact that it wasn't really upgradable. That was the only thing. So it had to be only really targeted at people that wanted to buy something that was cheap and pretty good. And I feel that this, in that area, is king. But no upgradability. But that's where this next one comes in. They also have started making the C12. This is a much more powerful one. It's over 2 times the amount of torque on it, but it's got a bit of a party trick. Now, because it's very similar to the previous one anyway, with all the assembly and whatnot, and probably the use case, I'm not really going to go that deep into it now. We're going to do a stream later on that'll be in this date. I'll put it on screen right now of when I'm going to stream. And then I'm going to be using this wheelbase, but not in its current form. And then there she is. Also, still very heavy. Once again, absolute bargain bin price. 12 arse Newton meters. Really strong. But have you seen it yet? I can take the boss off and I can change the wheel. I think that really should have been on the C5, so then there could have been like an upgrade path. That way you could upgrade a wheel if you wanted to, keep the base, and then if you wanted to upgrade to the 12, you'd only need to buy the base and not the wheel. But what we get to do now with this incredibly much more powerful one, I love my Moza 9 Newton meter, but this is 12 Newton meters. So why did I say yes to reviewing this, aside from the fact that they have actually given this to me for free? This is sponsored segment, but I hope that you do trust the fact that I will be as impartial as possible. Well, I've been getting really close to finishing my Napier Railton mod, which is a mod that I've been working on for a very long time. One of the things that I did from the last stream was, if we have a look, and I wanted to make it a little bit special. So I'm gonna have to go get myself a big giant wheel to help replicate using it. And now, let's go off and find ourselves something at a wreckers. So the reason why I'm talking up so much the CAMMUS here instead of like something like the Moza's situation is the CAMMUS actually has all of the buttons there as part of the thing. When you get something like a Moza wheelbase with their hub adapter to put on your own wheel, it doesn't come with any buttons. So that's why I think that this CAMMUS one is really awesome. So I could grab any of these steering wheels and they would just work, and I'd still have the buttons. Sure, I'd have to do a little bit of modifications to get the bolt patterns to work. The one problem is, I've looked at all of them, and none of them are big enough or old and vintage enough, so I think I'm gonna have to make one of my own. Grab some of this for the outer diameter, and then some 5mm strap metal, I'm thinking. All right, time to fabricate. I like to stick to the old proverb of measure twice and cut twice. Then throw it away because your maths was bad and cut a third time. But aside from my botch cutting aside, I got to break out my welder. I don't get to do this very often, so I was a little bit out of practice, but check out those dimes, bro! Now, I have a lot of tools, but the one I needed here was a pipe roller, not a pipe bender. Functionally, they're very similar. So obviously a hammer was going to fix it. It turns out it didn't though, so I just went with crushing bends. I see no issue here. Besides, I'm just gonna wrap it anyway. Also, because of my tools, I couldn't really do it all in one loop, so I had to do 2, trim the edges, realize I cut too much, then cut again. Then I get to have the fun of poisoning myself by welding galvanized steel. And voila, my steering wheel. Maybe wrapping it wasn't the best choice. But hey, it's better to have this cloth tape on it than for me to get from, like, tetanus from it. Ah, shoot. It's got whatever this is in the middle. Well, now it looks a lot worse. Ah, fuck. I've done this wrong. It doesn't match the boss because it wants to be... I completely forgot that this needed to be lined up. Oh my god, I am so dumb. I've really got to say, my grandiose project here is starting to turn out to be a little bit garbage. But I don't care, because I get to do this for my own wheelbase with buttons all ready to go, so then I'm not lacking anything. In fact, let me make one point. I love the TSW wheel from Moza. I think it's absolutely fantastic, but no flappy paddles, which means that you're either in automatic or you have to have a gearbox. I mean, you can bind it to one of the keys on here, but you don't want to. So having all of the buttons here, fantastic. Oh, this is awesome. All I've done is I've just got it like starting to clamp to the table, and it's already like the ginormousness of it just feels period correct. Now, I don't know the actual diameter of the Napier Railton wheel, but it seems to be between 18 to 20 inches. This should do it, and is getting a lot of wobble on that camera. Oh, is it having a problem because it's unbalanced? I mean, it's in, it's on, it's turned on. Now that I got the app working, it seems to be helping with the weighting issue. I didn't think that I'd have to balance a wheel, but okay. Let's turn on that force feedback, because it's not set up by default again. Oh, yes. Oh, okay. Oh, I love it. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, this is ready for the stream coming up this weekend, which is going to be linked in the description, and I will be finishing off this car. This car, even though it may look like it, is not finished. Is it not going to change gear? Oh, I haven't bound the gear change. Oh, whatever. This is fantastic. I love having the giant wheel like this. This feels so good. So, you have it, all the buttons, and then you can have whatever wheel you want on to fit the car that it is that you're driving, which is something you could do normally, but this is very cheap. And it will just kinda just works. No having to have, like, silly cables attached to it, potentially, or having to do, like, a number of different things. I love it. This is great. Alright, I'll see you next week. Oh dear.